I cannot believe it's been since last December since I've talked about a monster taming game on this channel? These things are like my bread and butter. We've almost gone a full year without checking out what's been going on in the genre, and that's ridiculous. Especially since these last few years have had a serious boom in these things. And they've all spanned across all sorts of game styles, including putting together a bunch of different subgenres like Pokemon-like, Shin Megami Tensei-likes, farm sims, even a bullet hell game, which I seriously need to talk about at some point. God, I've got to get back on the ball, and I can't think of a better place to start than with a little title that's taken the indie scene by storm, as well as getting a new DLC expansion, so let's talk about Cassette Beasts. Cassette Beasts was developed by Byton Studios, which is primarily operated by the dynamic duo Jay Bayless and Tom Coxon, both actually having previous experience working at Chucklefish, a publisher known for publishing games like Wargroove, which Bayless and Coxon actually worked on. The idea for Cassette Beasts actually came from the two's own experiences with the Pokemon series. Specifically, they wanted to make a game for adult Pokemon fans that had a deeper story and more complex game mechanics, with the gameplay and story also taking elements from other RPGs and the isekai genre of fantasy, where your protagonist falls from one world to another. The gimmick this time being that everyone in this world fell from another one, all throughout space, time, fiction, and even fan fiction. In an interview with Ed Thorne from Rock Paper Shotgun, which, by the way, is one hell of a website name, Bayless stated that this interesting plot structure really allowed the characters to be who they really are in reaction to such a strange event. Which, yeah, I would be pretty real too if I was thrusted into a weird limbo land where sentient traffic cones try to fry me up for dinner. But that's where the cassettes themselves come in. You see, the people of this mysterious land use cassette players and tapes to record and transform into the different monsters they run into. How does this work? Best not to think about it is the game's message at first, though you will find some characters who have their own opinions on the hows and whys. The battle system itself is the usual turn-based format you'd find in most monster taming games, though this game primarily focuses on the 2v2 styled format. And of course, each monster taking a turn using attacks that align with a certain element. The type chart in this game is actually rather fascinating, as we have the typical fire, water, and plants, but we also have fun types like plastic, glass, and glitter, to keep the battle system fresh and fun, especially with how all of the different types affect one another. You see, in Cassette Beasts, types actually have a larger effect on the opponent other than just a stronger or weaker attack. For instance, if a fire attack hits a plant type, they get burned, sapping off some of their HP at the end of the turn, which logically makes a lot of sense, but you can then take that logic and use it in unexpected ways, such as using fire on a plastic type to melt it into a poison type, which fire can then use to fuel itself to get stronger. But if we have a plastic attack hit a fire type, it makes smoke, giving the plastic an evasion boost, which is a really interesting way to handle a type chart. I really like how this is done. Oh, and the way you capture a monster is really interesting too, as you don't just throw a ball at it or something, your characters actually have to spend multiple turns trying to record it into a tape, which can leave them open to enemy attacks, meaning you have to plan accordingly. Your character's health is measured in 2 bars, a green one for the monster tape you're using, and a red one for your own health. If the green bar goes down, then that monster is basically KO'd till you get a chance to re-spool it later, so you then switch to your next monster. If your red health goes down, then bam, you're out of the game, and now it's up to your partner to finish the battle themselves. Since your monsters are cassette tapes, it allows you to mix and match their moves with stickers you collect from chests or shops, or even other monsters you own. allowing you to get really creative with each of the movesets of your monsters, which is just super fun in a strategy way. But also the cassette theming is just really cute in general and is really unique compared to other monster taming games. Especially since the tape theme allows the typical potions to just be like respools and pencils that you use to rewind the tape. That's just so fun. Oh, and the shinies in this game, guess what they're called? Bootlegs. Oh my god, that's hilarious. But they're also called bootlegs because they have a permanent coating on them, which makes them a complete different type, which, boom, your strategies just got way more fucking unique. Is modular the right word? I'm not really sure. But that is if you get one that's a different type. Sometimes you can get one that's the same type, but I don't know, fuck it. My snake is purple and therefore cooler than yours, so I don't know, deal with it. The most important part of this battle system is probably which partner you bring along with you. You see, there are multiple different characters you can have by your side in this game, and you shall meet them all throughout your travels. Each one having their own unique story, and as you complete them, you and your partner will gain an inseparable bond, allowing you to fuse into one super strong monster, which is incredibly cool, but you have to be careful when you use it. As if you fuse two damaged or debuffed monsters, that stuff will stack when you decide to fuse. But at the same time, if you fuse two healthy buffed monsters, that will also stack, giving you a serious powerhouse. The different partners actually all have like different base stats to consider when you pick them, but honestly, you can kind of just ignore that. I've found that 99% of the time, that stuff didn't really matter all too much, which I prefer, as that means I can just pick whichever partner for whatever narratively fits the situation, or just the ones I like, such as Meredith, who is just really cool, and I even chose her to be my relationship in the game. And the dog, who's a fucking dog. How could you not pick him? As you battle and just chill with your partner, your bond will go up, increasing your power while being fused. And you even get to learn more about them. Unless you're Eugene and you don't get to bond till the end of his long-ass quest line, so maybe get comfy with someone else while you wait. The overworld gameplay is this sort of 3D platforming thing with a really interesting style that features blocky styled 3D environments and 2D sprites to represent the monsters and characters. I really like this style, and if you remember my video on RPGs, I went into heavy detail on a game called Crystal Project that did a very similar thing, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's the perfect style for an open world RPG, which is exactly what Cassette Beasts is. You pretty much have the whole world open to you at the start, with the only barriers to entry being your own strength or your movement abilities, such as gliding or magnetism, and you gain these by recording certain beasts, so always be on the lookout as only certain monsters can give you a certain ability. The exploration is amazing. There is dozens of different boss fusions to go around fighting, side quests to do, optional dungeons with huge rewards of like a new move sticker or resources, which act as the main currency in this world, and fun puzzles that can be pretty brain taxing from time to time. Though the platforming itself can be kinda rough, but luckily that's not really all that prevalent in the main game. The sprites are gorgeous pixel art that are so colorful, and the monsters themselves are some of the most creative and fun beasts I've ever had the pleasure to gawk at and battle. And they're even modular, so when you fuse them, you'll see different body parts glued together. And since there's over 150 monsters, that's around 14,000 plus fusions, which is so cool. You can really go wild and just have fun just mixing and matching all these guys. But please don't worry about collecting all the fusions, that would be kind of ridiculous. Just the base monsters are fine for this game's professor, who's actually a data analyst who just really loves sci-fi, which again is such a fun twist on the usual formula. This guy's hilarious. The music in this game is some of the best in the genre, as you'd expect from a game that has musical influences injected straight into its veins. The music is this wonderful garage band rock in battle, and then this really chill lo-fi thing when walking around or in town. My favorite part of the music is the fact that it tends to gain lyrics when you go inside of certain buildings or when you fuse in battle, and oh, when that happens, it's exhilarating. Too bad I only tend to fuse towards the climax of the battle so I don't get to hear it too often, but still, I really like that they do this. It's so cool. The DLC that was just released is, it's pretty good. The new story elements were really interesting. I like the new character Gwen. I liked all the new monsters. It's a really neat bonus location. And I was fine with the short length. It's only like $5 for an extra hour of gameplay. I'm fine with that, especially since the game is almost always under $20 whenever there's a sale. But man, fuck that platforming. That was so annoying. Like, dude, the platforming barely works on the flat, still ground, and now you want me to start climbing moving shit? This ain't no Mario Galaxy, bro. The controls are kind of floaty and weird, which was never a problem till I had to be precise with it. This honestly did kind of infuriate me. But still, overall, I really like the DLC, and I recommend it as long as you know what you're going into. Alright, it's time for story. Skip here to avoid all story spoilers for Cassette Beasts. This story is honestly really good, and I think it's very much worth your while to experience it for yourself. So again, if you haven't played the game, skip here, bro. It's totally worth it. Okay, so like I said earlier, you're playing as a guy who just kind of fell into this strange world with different monsters and strange architecture all strung about. Well, after falling, you're saved by Kaylee, a ranger who's here to teach me, the glorious Chubbo, the ins and outs of this world. For one, we're not on our world anymore, we're on New World. See, it kind of sounds like world, but like it's spelled funny. But this is a place where all of time and space just kind of intertwine, and people from all over have fallen here. Kaylee tells us that there's really no way home, so we might as well become one of the protectors of New World, known as a ranger, which, if you know me, is a huge hell yeah. But while helping her on patrol, the two of you discover a strange train station that doesn't match anything else on the island. While they explore this place, they come across a strange being that Kaylee identifies as an archangel. The being seems to be delusional and starts a battle with us, and after the battle, Chubbo wants to know how to get off a New World. The Archangel, now known as Morgana, knows of a way, but to do it, Chubbo needs to defeat the other Archangels of the island to complete a song that she places within us. After that, Kaylee explains that the monsters of the island were once known as angels when the first people fell here due to their strange supernatural powers. And after a while that allure faded and they became just everyday monsters of people. The Archangels, however, never lost that intimidating aura. From their appearance to their powers, everything to do with them is just wrong, and that is so fascinating. By the way, genius fucking move to have all these guys feel wrong because they're designed in a different medium compared to the little sprite people. I love that detail. Kaylee recommends that Chubbo becomes a ranger like her by fighting all the top rangers so they can get strong enough to face these angels. Which one, you had me a top ranger, and two, how did you beat these guys? You're like the same level of power that I am. And these guys actually use really unique and interesting strategies which teach you the many ways the battle system can work, which is really cool. Except for the evasion one who just spams it till the game crashes. This happened in both of my playthroughs, the fuck? Well, as Chubbo goes around helping people and fighting the top rangers to train himself to get stronger and stronger, he eventually comes upon more and more of these beings, defeating them and gaining another piece of the song he needs to locate a way home. As he does though, he meets up with a weird Illuminati guy who's just kind of snatching up archangels like a raccoon after we trash their asses, and then he just casually floats away, but eventually he's like, hey, go to hell, and then he actually sends us there. But lucky for us, we're picked up by the the hotel, who takes us back to New World and gives us the deets as to what's going on. Basically, archangels are like human desires made manifest. We got war, death, capitalism, Shakespeare retellings, fan fiction, pretty much the worst of humanity, and a few of its more positive traits, condensed into a single being. The hotel was actually a buddy of Alf who had a whole crew or round table of these beings going around conquering different worlds. But since Triangle Boy is the manifestation of conquest, you can guess that he got a little too into it, with a disagreement between him and Morgana leading the table to disband and Morgana sealing Alf here on New World using these odd train stations found all around the place. Well, after making it back to our new home, it's time to get things tidied up with the last few Archangels and Rangers. Cause as soon as we do, it's time to put an end to Alf's plans before he conquers all known worlds. After defeating the last Archangel, we finally have the song completed and we use its lyrics to find the final station we need to get off a New World. This part is actually really cool as the lyrics are randomized per save file, so everyone will have a unique scavenger hunt to do to get to the final area, which is really cool unless you get a really cryptic hint, but there's ways online to decode this stuff, so don't worry about it, it's just a really fun thing. After making it to the final station, we meet up with Alf, with all of our friends in tow, except for Sunny and Gwen, who's DLC, so I get it, but I kinda wish we had more to do with Sunny. But we're here and it's time to throw down. But Alf's like, hey, we ain't gotta do this, man. Why don't I just send y'all home and then conquer every world except yours? Which I guess is kind of a tempting offer. But one, I don't trust your pointy ass. And two, this knuckle sandwich has been cooking since you sent me to hell. And it's about time to order and it would be a dick move to all the other universes if, yeah, sure, Kaylee, whatever. So after giving Alf his just desserts, he falls back and is like, you know what? I got friends too, asshole, and he summons up all the archangels he kidnapped. Following Alf into the portal between dimensions, he fuses with his round table and becomes Alf Null. Which I kinda wish kept the multimedia aspects of the other archangels, but like, I'm not sure how they could have done it, so I'm just gonna put that under nitpick. Well, after dogging his ass a second time, quite literally by the way, that's what you get for only bringing physical moves, asshole, Alf decides the hell with this and shatters your cassette player, preventing you from transforming into your monsters. All seems lost till Morgana pops in and is like, have you really not learned anything from your time here? Like seriously, did you really think the damn music box gave you the power to transform? This place is run on human desire, just do it, man! And boom! The indomitable human spirit activates, leading our team and Morgana to form into a super fusion, easily slaying the false King Alf and saving the day. Afterwards, the Hotel Motel Holiday Inn shows up, leading to her and Morgana filling in the little details left in the story. One is that Morgana is actually the Archangel of Rebellion, which led her and Alf to conflict on multiple occasions, but at the same time, they were also lovers. I guess you really can't have conquest without rebellion. But this did lead to a toxic relationship that finally snapped when Alf killed their child Mordred, leading Morgana to disband the round. Holy shit, is this a King Arthur reference? Man, that took me way too long to figure out. I mean, we got Morgana, Mordred, Round Tables, the Merline. Seriously, I am so stupid. Anyway, after all that happened is when Morgana finally decided to seal Alf away by fighting him on New World till the time came where he finally won. However, he was unable to escape this place until we put the song together, leading to the reveal of the final station and Alf's next escape attempt, which Morgana knew would lead to us finally putting a stop to him, though the lounge lady does let us know that he's technically not dead as they are manifestations of human will, so he may come back one day. Though at least next time he'll probably think twice before sending people to I mean, conquering the multiverse. Yay, multiverse. Anyway, it's time to head home. All our characters say goodbye, including our girlfriend, which, I don't know, man, I thought we had something special. But at least I get to keep the dog, and we travel home together. Though, if you decide to stick around in New World, there are some cool post-game quests and rematches to have, including a battle with the protagonist from the dev's last game, which was really cool. The post-game is actually pretty full of content and new lore elements if you're interested, so check it out if you want. I really enjoyed this story for its interesting settings and power sets and creatures, but what really ties everything together is the character writing and the interactions between said characters. Like I mentioned in the beginning, the characters themselves reacting to the setting and the differences between one another is a huge basis for this game. And that even includes the battles. Unlike other games where the monsters are like your pets or something, this time you and another character transform into them, giving the two of you a very personal tie into how the battles and the world itself works. Honestly, I have left out quite a bit of the character stuff on purpose, as I do believe that that is the heart of this game, and I think you as a player should experience it for yourself. The different personalities are very fun, the dialogue is thought-provoking and fucking hilarious when it wants to be. It's just so well done. And that's Cassette Beasts, probably one of the best monster taming games in the genre. I really don't think that's like a hot take or anything. Most people who have played this game have done nothing but sing its praises. Haha, sing its praises. The battle system is fucking great. The gameplay is on point. The visuals are wonderful. The music is kick-ass. And the story, well, it's just really good and thought-provoking. Maybe I'd tweak the platforming a little bit, but otherwise, Cassette Beasts is pretty close to a perfect game, and I foresee myself playing it more in the future. Especially because this game has more content on the way, including online multiplayer. I mean, technically we already got like 2-player local, but in the update it will be up to 4 players, including online battling between them. That's so cool! And this game even has mod support built in. I was 100% gonna do a Void Pup mod for this game, and yeah, that's what the mascot's called if you didn't know. I don't think I've ever said it before. And I was gonna have it in the description for y'all to download, but the guide on the wiki is at the time of recording incomplete, so I didn't end up doing it. But oh my god, I love stuff like this in recent indie monster taming games. This type of shit is just so damn fun, and I can't wait to see how it will evolve already great games like Cassette Beasts in the future. There's already plenty of mods to try out, including recolors of monsters, some redesigns, including a cat-eared Meredith. If only we'll bring her back. Speaking on relationships, there's even a polyamorous mod for those who want all the Is that a Sunny partner mod? Let's go!